Making major moves, we going all in, like we got nothing to lose. We making moves, we making major moves, we making moves, we making major moves, we making moves.
Welcome back to my channel. I want to thank you guys for actively deciding to spend time with me. I'm just a guy in a Spider-Man mask, a cool one I might add. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just providing information and content already on the internet, and I just read it and present it to you guys in a way that may reach you or may not reach you. Whatever the reason is you found my page, I'm grateful you're here, and thank you for spending time with me. Let's get into this.
Act with it. My head was boggled, and I'm sure yours will be too. So let's just jump into this. Excuse me. Former Treasury official warns of complete economic implosion if US dollar loses global reserve currency status. Let's look into this here. Former Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs for the U.S. Department of the Treasury, Monica Crowley, has warned of catastrophic consequences if the U.S. dollar loses its status as the world's reserve currency. That would mean the end of the U.S. dollar, she said, predicting that there would be a complete implosion of the global economic system. Crowley warns of catastrophic consequences if the U.S. dollar loses global reserve currency status. So Monica Crowley, former Assistant Secretary for the Public Affairs for the U.S. Department of the Treasury, explained on Fox News Saturday what would happen if emerging economies move away from the US dollar towards the Chinese yuan, and the USD is no longer the world's dominant currency, she stressed. Remember the other day, 2 days ago, I showed you the Kenyan president there talking about let go of your US dollars. It's going to be an interesting next couple of weeks, all right? It's really hard to overstate exactly how catastrophic the abandonment of the US dollar would be as the world's global reserve currency. Crowley explained that since the end of the World War II, the dollar has been considered a safe haven. Initially, it was backed by gold, but after President Nixon took the U.S. off the gold standard, there has been no hard asset backing the dollar for the last 50 years. Instead, it has been backed by the strength and economic power of the U.S., she said. The former Treasury official added that another important factor is that the fact that oil has always been traded in US dollars. So here we are talking about the US dollar losing strength now, all right? Should the economy lose faith in it? So here we go. Brazil and China strike trade deal agreement to ditch the US dollar. China overtook the United States as Brazil's top trading partner in 2009. This is from yesterday, okay? So we have China and Brazil de-dollarizing. Brazil and China have reportedly struck a deal to ditch the US dollar in favor of their own currencies in trade transactions. The deal announced Wednesday will enable China and Brazil to carry out trade and financial transactions directly, exchanging yuan for reais, I don't know how to pronounce that, or vice versa. I didn't do that. Rather than first converting their currency to the US dollar first. So now they can skip that intermediary, go right from the yuan to the Brazil dollar. Interesting finding.
That Republican congressman from Montana, the great Ryan Zinke. Congressman,
Okay,
good to see you. I gotta tell you what.
All right, I didn't ask you to play, so stay off my screen, all right? So here we have Russia de-dollarizing as well. This goes back to February 24th, 2022, all right? The Ukraine crisis is showing little sign of being resolved. The U.S. and the European Union have imposed a new tranche of sanctions on Russia, especially in financial field, aimed at increasing Russia's financing costs and weakening its economy. Russia started de-dollarizing its economy a year ago to minimize the impact of the financial sanctions that the United States and European Union have been threatening to impose on the country. Unhappy with the US dollar's domination of the globe economy, of the global economy. Despite the declining U.S. strength, Russia has implemented de-dollarization policies to safeguard its monetary sovereignty, offset the impact of the financial sanctions by the U.S. and the EU, and make the international financial order more dynamic. Global debates on a possible collapse of the U.S. dollars have been going on for nearly 50 years, and here we are, you and I, living through this right now, and I am documenting this with you guys live right now. For me, when you get it, it won't be live, but this is live right now. This is March 30th, 4:38 now p.m. Central Savings Time. In recent years, the debates have become increasingly fierce, yet the dollar's hegemony continues to a large extent. Interesting. Okay. Hurry up. Come on, refresh. Well, that sucks. This was an article about India and China commencing their trade in their own sovereign currency as well, because India is de-dollarizing also. And we read just 2 articles back that China and Brazil are de-dollarizing. So India, so that's all of BRICS now, okay? We got all of BRICS going on there. Oh, did I not? I didn't pull this up. Hold on a second. Here we go. Pull this up. That's it right there. That's what I want. I want that. There we go. So that brings us to the next topic now. All right, we have people de-dollarizing here. So here we have. All right. This isn't it either. No. How did my things keep changing here? Okay, watch this. I'll Google this. I'll bring it right up right now. Okay. NYIC RLN proof of concept. There we go. This is where I'm. Was that it? Huh. Maybe this was it. Okay, my bad. Either way. So the New York Innovation Center is participating in a proof of concept project along with members of the private sector to explore the feasibility of an interoperable network of digital central bank liabilities and commercial bank digital money using distributed ledger technology, or DLT. All right, I'm going to skip over this stuff here. Solution concepts. Experiment design. Here we go. This is what I want. The project will be conducted in a test environment and only use simulated data. Participants include BNY Mellon, Citi, HSBC, MasterCard, PNC Bank. Remember some of these names: TD Bank, Triust, US Bank, and Wells Fargo. SWIFT, the global financial messaging service provider, is supporting interoperability across the international financial ecosystem. The technology sandbox vendor is Settle. So Settle is the sandbox for this, with digital assets. Legal services are being provided by Sullivan and Cromwell LLP, and Deloitte will be providing advisory services. So my next thing will be to pull up that Deloitte finding there. So here we are at the RLN now, white paper. We've gone through this before. What I found really interesting in this is number 3, I want to say it is, right here, okay? What it says: the Bitcoin white paper introduced the radical notion of the digital money being decoupled from the nation state. Existing digital forms of sovereign currencies are liabilities of trusted institutions like central banks, commercial banks, and regulated non-bank e-money issuers. These liabilities are promises to pay a known user on demand at par value in national currency units. In contrast, in other words, CBDCs. In contrast, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are not liabilities. They are non-sovereign, non-regulated forms of money. Bitcoin is an unbacked cryptocurrency. You have the potential to find yourself in a lot of issues when regulations really begin to tighten. All right, Bitcoin might find itself on the outskirts of people thinking, "Hoorah, we're free, we're out of the system." there's not going to be two monetary systems. You know, there's not going to be the regulated monetary system and then some freedom Bitcoin. It's not going to work like that. Bitcoin will be wrangled in. And I think it's going to be some ETF, exchange traded fund, and then like, you know, you get this company, that company, and you get Bitcoin as well. They do not represent the notion of a promise to pay national currency units from a trusted regulated institution to a known user. Bitcoin contrasts with traditional payments. Bitcoin contrasts with traditional payment system because the value being transferred is in the network. It's in its own network, not this other network. Traditional payment system consists of messaging systems between institutions that maintain their own proprietary database. The money is in the institutions in the form of proprietary database records of the liabilities in favor of known users. Public blockchains like Ethereum display global qualities that may be desirable in their regulated financial systems. They are always on, programmable, and multi-asset. Can these features be incorporated into the regulated financial system through adoption of shared ledger technology? We'll find out. This paper explores the notion of a novel financial market infrastructure, or FMI, that makes use of the blockchain technology to upgrade sovereign currencies, not Bitcoin. People are talking about having Bitcoin as a reserve. We have what's rolling in are CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. That is your reserve. All right. So now that we have that established, let's keep going down the line here. Goldman's chief economics calls on BRICS to challenge U.S. dominance as China leads de-dollarization trend. This is from today. We had gone through all the BRICS nations, right? De-dollarizing here. Now this comes today from Goldman. All right. Former Goldman Sachs chief economist Jim O'Neill is calling on the BRICS bloc to expand and challenge the dominance of the U.S. dollar. China's recent actions with the yuan are already doing just that. Oh, here we go. O'Neill said that the dollar's dominance destabilizes other nations' monetary policies, which is why the bloc, made up of Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Saudi Arabia is going to be in there soon. They have Turkey, Mexico's moving over there. There's like 13 different countries waiting to join. They've already signed on the dotted line, just waiting to go. Don't quote me on signing on the line. I just kind of ran away with that. It got interesting with what I was saying, so I did it. Just ignore me. Okay. The US dollar plays a far too dominant role in global finance. He wrote in a paper published in the Global Policy Journal, whenever the Federal Reserve Board has embarked on periods of monetary tightening or the opposite, loosening, QE and QT, the consequences on the value of the dollar and the knock-on effects have been dramatic. You and I are living through this right now. We're living through this. All right. So, here we go. So now we are here in March. ISO 20022 to March and beyond. What I want to show you here is this. All right, we're looking at April dates here now. And what this says is over the past few years, however, the proposed migration strategies have, for a variety of reasons, been somewhat of a moving target. Most recently, the European Central Bank announced that what is anticipated to be the final change to a strategy, with the go-live date moving from November to March, to give participants additional time to complete their testing in a stable environment in order to align with the ECB's revised strategy. I'm going to break this down for you guys so good. And to ensure the implementation is as straightforward as possible. But both European Banking Authority, Clearing, and SWIFT announced that they would also sync up their respective migrations. The Bank of England is scheduled to migrate in April. All right, today's the 30th. Tomorrow's the 31st. And then it's April. No specific date. Though a deadline extension is also being considered. We will see. Followed by the clearinghouse. The clearinghouse here, okay? The clearinghouse. And the Federal Reserve Bank in November and March 2025, respectively. So let's take this dive down the hole now, okay? Euroclear may launch digital bond settlements platform this year, staffer says. The move follows interest in securities trading using central bank digital currencies. Again, just like the RLN was talking about, sovereign currencies on that regulated network here. Euroclear, a Brussels-based firm that specializes in settling securities trades, may release a new platform for trading securities based on DLT technology as soon as this year, one of its staffers said on Thursday. The initiative, let's see what day this today is. This thing came out. That was today. So on Thursday would have been today. Today's Thursday. So the initiative builds on a recent trial led by Euroclear with the French central bank to use blockchain technology for bond transactions with the central bank digital currency used as payments. I don't know which project that would be though. That's the confusing part. Either way, extending the idea beyond a mere experiment to cover live transfers of security tokens. Euroclear is building and finalizing the first minimum viable product of a DLT platform for issuance and settlement of digital bonds. Bart Gare, a lawyer for Euroclear, told CoinDesk at an event in Brussels. All right. So who's Euroclear? Euroclear hires the top 20 shareholders of Euroclear Holdings. Look at some of these names, okay? So we have Sicovam Holdings. We have Société Fédérale. We have, I can't read that. We have Curie Atiak. We have JP Morgan. That's my dude right there. I'm not saying my dude isn't like my dude. No respect for this guy and his company, okay? But there he is. This is the guy I follow. We have London Stocks. We have this one here, Société Générale. Okay, we got Bank Julius, Euronext, HSBC, Skandinaviska, MUFG, Stanley, Morgan. You guys know these American companies. RBC, that's Canadian. RBC Europe Limited. FMR, not sure about who they are. Belfius, I was looking about them today. All right. So, that being said, let's keep going. Remember that name I showed you? Société Générale? Let me just go back up here again. What number were they? What number? Right here, number 7? Let's look at this. This came out today as well, okay?
A sticky situation for French banks, as some 150 investigators searched offices across the Paris area Tuesday, targeting Société Générale, BNP Paribas, its Exxon unit, HSBC, and Natixis.
Doesn't that seem like all of Euroclear's banks? I mean, I could be wrong, but that seems like Euroclear's setup right there. Okay? All they're missing is like JP Morgan.
The raids were the climax of an investigation into alleged tax fraud and money laundering using a strategy known by its Latin nickname, cum cum. That's when foreign investors in French companies temporarily transfer ownership of their shares to French banks in order to avoid higher taxes on dividend payouts. The practice is similar to cum-ex, in which investors used short-selling tactics to claim multiple dividend tax rebates when only a single rebate should have been due. A seminal investigative report published in 2018 by a group of European media outlets estimated cum-ex fraud has drained some 140 billion euros from European treasuries, particularly in Germany. Tuesday's raids are the latest stroke of bad luck for the global banking sector, already battered by a crisis of confidence that has seen spasms of selling in U.S. regional lenders and finished off Swiss giant Credit Suisse. Tuesday's raids could mean a load of trouble for the banks in question. Prosecutors are seeking fines of more than 1 billion euros.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Let's keep going. So here's where I find it gets really interesting, okay? So this is a document here. The list of supervised entities. Okay, this is 2019. Number of significant entities directly supervised by the ECB. Let's go. Not that one. Where's number 1? All right, this company here was on that list. All right, look at these companies. All under the ECB here. They're Societe Generale under the ECB supervision. Are they just missing this? Kind of like what happened with SVB, the Silicon Valley Bank. So keep an eye on this, folks. Keep an eye on this, okay? Because this could be a subconscious contagion taking place here that people aren't aware of. Banks, you know, defrauding individuals, foreign investors defrauding individuals, I should say, with the help of the banks. You have the ECB governing and looking over these individual banks here. Here's the top 20 holder of this Euroclear here. This Euroclear is the clearing for, was it Brussels and a French central bank. How is this playing out? It's going to be very interesting to see where this goes. It's really hard to gauge and get an understanding where this is going. And last but not least, before I let you guys go, I found this very interesting, okay? I stumbled upon this today. The amendments came out just today. Boom. Advisory Committee on Bankruptcy Rules today, March 30th, 2023. They're updating the rules for bankruptcy. All right? This is a 725-page document. You're damn right I didn't read most of it, right? But let me show you what I found interesting. So I tend to go through the, what's that place called there? The table of contents. And what I found interesting was this. Right here. Here's what's new. CR 62. It says proposed new rules developed in response to whatever this is under the CARES Act, which directs that the Judicial Conference and the Supreme Court consider rules amendments to address emergency measures that may be taken by the courts when the president declares a national emergency. I wonder what those rules are that they can take. So whatever this is here, where's the mouse? Whatever these are, it has to do with that. This up here as well. Same thing, same verbiage. Whatever these are, it affects that within the CARES Act. I haven't read this at all. I found this at work. I read the table of contents, found it very, very interesting. I'll present the link down at the bottom for you guys there to continue doing research, and maybe you can present me with some info. But please don't forget to like, don't forget to share this content. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. And, excuse me. And until the next time, you guys, love you. See you on the next one. Take it easy.
Major moves. We going all in. Like we got nothing to lose. We making moves. We making major moves. We making moves.